Hi tubers, and a very warm welcome to my yet again another YouTube video. If you're new to my channel, please do subscribe, like, share, and most importantly, leave your comment on the comment section right below. Now tubers, I hope you had an amazing week because I sure did. I most definitely did. But something happened in the week that I wanted to bring into this platform for us to talk about, or rather look into it, just to get some clarity on it. So even if we don't reach a resolution or a resolve into this, I just want for us to briefly talk about it, right? Now, tubers, within the week, something happened, right? Let me give you context on this, right? So I don't know if you know Mandla N, but if you don't know anything about Mandla N, I'm afraid to break it to you. You're living under a rock. So Mandla N is like the Tyler Perry of South Africa. If you know anything about Mandla N, you will know about his amazing work when it comes to the film industry, right? He's very big, he's huge. Mandla N is a director, producer, actor, and musician, right? South African director, actor, producer, and musician. So Mandla N just recently got engaged to Mellisa. Don't want to say her surname. I really don't want to butcher it. But the lady just got crowned Miss Universe South Africa recently. And they just got engaged within the week. And it's amazing news, right? I mean, it's incredible news. Love in the air. What's not amazing about that? True. But I wanted us to look into this. Now, tubers, I don't know if you know Tumi Masemola. Mandla N and Dumi Masimula were formally together for 16 years. Now, that was 16 years of just dating. But before we go any further, I just want to play you this quick clip right here, and then we'll break it down a little bit later.
You've got a point. Everything's working. Why fix it if it's not broken? But as I got older and my children were carrying his surname and I had a different surname and everyone was just like, and you know when you go to your maternity ward and they're like, oh gosh, and those nurses, they have so many comments you know, it makes you feel some type of way.
And you're then popular to add on to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And every time you go to family events, they're like, Kante! Ow, you know, and you're always having to come back with a story. So once I also got like exhausted with the conversation, I then realized, you know what, this is not something that is going to happen for us. And I think by the time he was ready, on my end, the damage was done. I was like,
16 years. Sure. I would understand why after 16 years you would be like, Gege phela. Nomshata ufiki. You know?
Well, I mean, he did come to my home. They did send a letter, you know, guthi bazokhipha amalobolo and all of that.
Which year? Year number?
Do I remember?
14. Not 14.
Aksakubuli. I think it was between my two pregnancies.
Okay.
Yeah, so at that point, I at least felt like, okay, this
We're
is
going
happening.
somewhere. Yeah.
But unfortunately, we lost his mom.
Okay.
And then we had to give the family time to grieve. And then I think 2 years or so after, we lost his father. And then we had to give the family time to grieve as well. It was a very challenging time for the family and us.
You again defining your life by his standards.
Yes. And then, and then once all of that kind of died down, I think what started rising inside me was a sort of resentment, which I obviously directed towards him, even though
16 years. 16 years, guys, I don't think you understand. Tumi Masemula was in a relationship with Mandla N for 16 years, right? In that 16 years, children were conceived. Children were had in the relationship. Okay, so if you listen carefully to what she's saying in the interview, she does speak about a letter being sent to her family, right? to say they were going to ask for her hand in marriage, but it never came to fruition because there was an incident that took place with Mandla's family. So therefore it didn't materialize. Fair. But you cannot honestly tell me that in the 16 years that a man is with you, and I'm guessing if you're with a man for 16 years, there's got to be some wifey material stuff that you pull out your sleeve. You're cooking for this man, you're cleaning for this man. Hell, you gave kids to this man, not just one, but 2 kids. You give this man 2 kids, you clean for this man, you cook for this man, you make sure that this man is taken care of. And if there's anything I know about, because we don't know much about these people, right? I mean, Dumi Masemola's relationship with Mandla N was pretty much public, but that's because they were both in the spotlight, and that's because we both know them from the film industry, and the fact that they were musicians, right, on Gang of Instrumentals. But guys, you can clearly, if you listen carefully to this interview, you can clearly hear how Tumi Masemola speaks about her need for marriage. She wanted commitment. He just never gave it to her. She genuinely wanted it. He just decided that she wasn't the one, right? It's mind-boggling to me that a man can wake up, date someone for 6 months, and decide this is who they want to spend the rest of their lives with. And this person didn't have to go through hoops to prove themselves that they are worthy of marriage. This person didn't have to go through the auditioning process of showing you that I can stick around for years, I can stick around for longer, I can definitely be a ride or die for you, I can have your back. Hell, I don't want to make comparisons, but let's be realistic. Let's be honest here. Tumi Masemola and Mandla N got into business together. These two were making some huge moves in the entertainment industry as a whole. They were making movies. They were giving us the best sitcoms. They were giving us the best series in town. You're telling me that a woman invests that much into you emotionally, mentally, physically, and there's absolutely nothing to show for it? That for me will forever be the craziest thing, right? Now, I genuinely do not want to make comparison between the 2 women, because I don't want to have to look like or feel like I'm pitting 2 women against each other. But the truth of the matter is, what is the psychology behind this? Is it because a man can be with a woman and feel they are not ready for commitment and therefore they starve you that? Is it because you were just a practice run for this person that they didn't see anything long-term with you, but you were good enough to produce kids for me? Like, I'm trying to understand the science behind this, because what do you mean we can be in a relationship together for 16 years and I give you kids, and yet I'm not good enough for marrying? I mean, granted, we don't know these people's businesses, you know, we don't know what happens behind closed doors in the lives of celebrities or people in general. But like, you're telling me that there were so many hiccups along the way that stopped him, that hindered him from making that commitment to her for 16 years. Now, I don't want to sound bitter. I don't want to sound like a feminist, because I am definitely not one. I do not subscribe to the ideologies of feminism. I do not subscribe to what feminists believe is right for women and is not for men. But the truth of the matter is here, if we're looking at facts for facts, it's not fair. Think about it. I cannot begin to imagine how she must have taken these news. I mean, she has probably moved on with her life, you know. She's probably not even checking for this man. She's probably not even thinking about this. But the truth of the matter is, this would hurt like a motherfucker. Like, this has got to hurt like a motherfucker. You're telling me that I was with you for 16 years, gave you kids, took care of you, ventured into businesses with you, and I was still not good enough to be made a wife. But someone comes and you're with them for 3 years and you marry them. Because when I do my little research, it certainly states that Mellisa and Mandla N were out not out, but like they were openly dating from 2023. So that would be like what, 3 years, and you're ready to make the commitment to say this is the one for you, and I wasn't. We've seen this happen with so many celebrities. Case in point, we've seen it happen with Casper Nyovest and his baby's mother. Listen, Casper Nyovest was with that lady for a brief moment. The lady gave birth to Casper's child, and she still never got the ring. She still never got the ring. The other lady did. After a brief moment of dating, he decided, this is who I want to marry. So now, where does this place women in society? Where does this place women in general? I don't want to say how do we prevent this from happening, because the truth of the matter is there's no stopping this from happening. This is how men function. This is how men's brains are wired. Men will always choose what's best for them, right? Men will always go with what they feel is right for them, right? So it doesn't matter if you're a good wife material. It doesn't matter if you cook good meals for a man. It doesn't matter if you iron his clothes, make his lunch for work. It doesn't matter if you're fully invested in this man's well-being and this man's financial state and this man's mental state of mind. It doesn't matter if you give this man kids. The lesson learned from this whole entire thing is that a man is going to do what a man wants to do. And what a man wants to do is a man is going to marry someone that they feel they're compatible with. What we are also taking away from this is that a man can be with you for such a long duration of time and you'd still not be the one. It's very much possible. How many women, how many cases like this do you know of? Because I can most definitely tell you this, that in my circle of friends, I know similar situations that have happened, very similar to this. A woman would dedicate her life to taking care of a man, provide for a man. Hell, at some instances, they've even had to provide for the man financially. And they still never got what they believed to have been a fruitful outcome from it, being the marriage. Because, I mean, obviously, I'm old enough to know this, right? Women, majority of the time, get into relationships with the hope that the end goal will be commitment, right? That I'm going to be taken as a wife. But what does psychology say about women who dedicate so much of their lives, who give so much of their lives to men, and they just never get what seems to be the beautiful, happy ending? It saddens me to the core. And I don't know, maybe I'm probably personalizing this more than I should. But I've seen instances like this happen a lot in the entertainment industry, and I've seen it quite a few times in my personal space as well. And it makes me wonder, what is it that men want? What do men want? Because what do you mean you can be with a person for 16 years and you don't see marriage with the person? Now, you can call me a feminist, call me whatever you want to call me, right? But all I know is, I feel as a woman, if you're in a committed relationship and you're with a man for that long, you need to place boundaries in place, because no fucking ways a man is going to be with you, especially if you're a woman looking into getting into marriage. If you're a woman looking into that whole perspective of marriage, honey, I hate breaking it to you, but ma'am, you might have to place some boundaries in place, because there is no way you are dating me for 5 years and you still have not made your intentions clear to me. Could that be the case? Could it be a case of Dumi was with Mandla and probably never made it clear to him because I don't know, because she probably didn't want to come across as someone that was desperate and needy for this? We don't know what happens behind closed doors. We don't know what people discuss when it comes to their personal lives, right? But like, what could have been the cause for this? Why would you, as a woman looking into getting into a marriage with a man, why would you stick around? And I'm not saying I am entirely putting the blame on her, right? Yet, granted, we have no idea what happens in people's relationships. We don't know the conversations that take place. But I have never understood, especially women that constantly say they want to get married, I've never understood why they've never placed boundaries in place to say, sir, you're not going to date me for 4 years or 5 years and not put a ring on it. I feel like, and I'm not trying to influence women into doing something that they feel is not okay for them. I'm not trying to influence women to go against men or go against the idea of what they believe should be a happy ending for them. But I just feel like if a person dates you for 5 years, at least there should be a time frame to these things. There should be a time frame to these things. Now, sir, what do you mean you're going to be with me for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, and you haven't made your intentions clear to me? But this mainly for women that are looking into getting married, right? If you know that that's what you want for yourself, I would highly recommend that you give men a time frame. Like, say, we're going to be together for this certain amount of time, and by the 6th year, you need to get your shit in order. You need to make your intentions clear about what you're doing with me and what the end goal is for this. Anyway, tubers, thank you so much for tuning in to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please do subscribe, like, share, but most certainly leave your comment on the comment section right below. Thank you for tuning in to yet another one of my interesting videos. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Thank you and have a good one.